UFC Fight Night, Duplessis versus Usman. Man, there's actually a couple of interesting matches here, man. Like, obviously, besides the main event, champion versus champion, we got CLD versus Jared Cannonier, tail end of the career versus an uprising star. We got Chase Hooper with the layup match, question mark. We got the newest superstar inside the UFC, Tommy McMillian versus Alberto Montez, a submission specialist. We got Austin Bashi, the hyped up wrestler, versus Jose Delgado. I think that's a fire fight. We got Seok Ko versus John Paul Lebiyosinani. I think that one's an interesting stylistic matchup as well. I can't wait to see that. We got Alden Corrier fighting Stuart Nickel. And then we have a ton of UFC debutants. And let's break down this whole entire card. This is going to be my early picks and early leans video. I've done the majority of the tape study already, so there's a lot of spots that I'm already confident in. But throughout the week, I still want to like stabilize and I still want to rewatch stuff over before I make my official plays. So all of this is going to be my official early leans, and they'll most likely stay that way. If I happen to pick, switch, flip, I'll let you guys know in the full card breakdown. But yeah, expect another full card breakdown in the later end of the week. This is just going to be the early one. And let's just get started. I'm going to do my best to go through this pretty fast. Up first, we got Anna Melisano versus Dione Barbosa, the Witch. This is a very interesting fight to me because Anna Melisano, I want to see more, I want to see her prove herself more against higher level comp. I'm not saying Zayone is like high level, but I would say she's like at least mid tier. At least a mid tier UFC flyweight in the women's division. I gotta take Diana Barbosa here, man. Like, if you're giving me the Witch, and like I know she's pretty chalky. I'll probably target her by submission. I kind of like Diona Barbosa in the spot by submission. I kind of see this fight ending not extremely early. It could go to decision as well too, man. But if there's a finish, I favor Diona Barbosa. At the current line and at this current moment, I'm taking Diona Barbosa to win. For the next one, RJ Harris versus Alvin Hines. RJ Harris is actually he's a sleeper, man. Like yes, he wings his punches a lot. Yes, he's like it's not tight boxing. It's a lot of overhand. It's a lot of wide swings. But he does carry some power, and he's huge, man. He's huge, 6'6". He usually towers over his opposition. And Alvin Hines, I'm pretty positive he's coming here with a 6-inch disadvantage and a 4-inch height disadvantage. You're gonna notice that Harris is gonna be the much bigger fighter. Both of these guys are pretty hittable, man. So I kind of expect a war in this. I think this is going to be a banger of a fight to watch, man. Um, I kind of see this playing out similar to how Paddy Pimblett and BSD happened. And if it plays out that way, I kind of got RJ Harris here, man. RJ Harris by finish, even. I'm going to take RJ Harris for the early lean. Up next, we got Alden Corrier versus Stuart Nickel. Dude, this fight doesn't make sense to me because Stuart Nickel was finished by the guy that Alden Correa finished. Alden Correa finished Alessandro Costa and Alessandro finished Stuart Nickel. Usually when it comes to MMA math here, it becomes like a triangle, but I have a hard time seeing Stuart Nickel finishing Alden Correa. Stuart Nickel is the type of guy, like he went into the UFC 8-0 and now he's 8-3. I think he's going to finish up this UFC run winless. I think Alden Correa takes this however he wants, but he should really get the knockout win. I'm taking Alden Correa here, man. He's a -1,000. Like, I'm not going against that. Levi Rodriguez Jr. versus Felipe Franco. I gotta lean Felipe Franco a little bit just because I know he's gonna have some wrestling upside. But both of these guys' records, they're a little bit padded. Like, they have not fought the best of competition. This is definitely a lower tier fight. Like, Felipe Franco didn't look that bad in the Mario Pinto fight, but Mario Pinto wasn't really throwing hands. So that one's a tough one in my book. But that was a tough look. But at least Felipe Franco has some UFC experience, unlike Levi Rodriguez. Levi, he might have the heavier power in the hands, but uh, his most recent, like his UFC DWCS contract win, it was overturned because of drug usage, and not being on steroids. I don't know if he'll have the same ability, pop, durability. I gotta take Felipe Franco here, but I probably will just watch this fight. Give me Felipe Franco for the pick. Shakyung Ko versus John Paul Lesbiani. Ooh, this one's a very tough stylistic matchup for me, man, because JPL definitely has the hands and power to be able to knock out Shakyung Ko. And I know he has a grappling background as well too, but I just can't like I don't think he was reversed by Phil Rowe, but the wrestling was not as dominant as Shakyung Ko, for example. And if Shakyung Ko can get JPL down on the ground here, it's gonna be tough for JPL, man. And if JPL cannot build himself back up, it's gonna be full 15 minutes of control for Ko. I don't think Ko is gonna finish JPL. I don't think so. I really don't think so. If Ko were to win, it would be via decision. And if JPL were to win, it would be via knockout. If it goes the distance, you gotta favor Ko to win here, man. JPL has a puncher's chance here, and if he can definitely keep it on the feet, I think his boxing is definitely on a higher level than Ko. The power, it might be. Nah, the power is definitely JPL, but Ko is not falling behind in power by that much of a margin. I have a very, it's very tough for me for this fight, man. A specific pick lean, I probably will pick Ko at the moment, but I'm not sure if I'm playing either fighter. But Ko should be able to establish his game plan. He should be able to win, but I don't know, man. If odds come out and it's like really good props for JPL, I might take it. I might take it. Up next, we got Jose Delgado versus Austin Bashi here. This is another tough stylistic matchup, right? Because for either fighter to win, it's dependent on if they can push their game. Austin Bashi, he's going to look for the wrestling. He's going to look for the takedowns. He's going to put the pressure on Jose Delgado and try to find a sub. I don't think, yeah, it's not going to be a ground and pound. I think Austin Bashi, if he were to win, it would be via submission or a 3-round controlled decision. But it's going to be tough to control Jose Delgado, man. Jose Delgado, I watched his tape a lot. Like, he kind of gives up the back when he's getting up, and that is a very opportunistic opportunity for Austin Bashi to get the submission here. But if it's on the feet, man, it's Jose Delgado all day, man. Like, and Jose Delgado has these sneaky high knees that definitely can knock Austin Bashi out. Jose Delgado, his fight IQ, like, it's not the worst, right? But it there was a lot of room that was left to be desired in that Philly fight. Like, Delgado did not look as good as I thought in that Philly fight. In that Philly fight, I really did think Delgado would have knocked out Philly early, but he just couldn't get past the range. Here, there's not going to be a problem because Austin Bashi, he's levels below Jose Delgado in the striking. If it's on the feet, dude, Delgado should knock out Bashi. And if Bashi shoots a takedown that's telegraphed, Delgado can really catch him with the knee, and the fight would probably be over there. But if Bashi can get his game plan, I can see an early sub on Delgado here. It's really tough here, man. At this moment, I'm going to be leaning Austin Bashi, but a specific play, I have not found an edge that I really like in this fight because it's so volatile, right? But a specific lean, I'll probably lean Austin Bashi like 55-45, not that much. Now onto the main card. We got Tommy McMillan versus Alberto Montez for the featherweight bout of the main card, opening it up. UFC's newest superstar, Tommy McMillan. This is a tough fight, man. Originally, when I first looked at this, right, I was like, it might really just be Alberto Montez by submission, because if it was really Alberto in that position in the DWCS fight with Tommy McMillan, I feel like Alberto Montez would have gotten the sub, and he would have finished it in that position instead of like allowing McMillan to slip out. But McMillan's a very credentialed wrestler, and he has a lot of submission skills himself too, so it might be a little bit tough to sub him, but I'm telling you, like when McMillan gets a little bit into the clinch, his head kind of goes down a little bit, man. And that's not the only way for Alberto Montez to get a sub. McMillan's very hittable, extremely hittable, dude. Like, he's fully offense, always throwing, so it leaves him very open to be hit. But he has a great chin, right? So that's why I'm thinking like Alberto Montez could land a powerful shot just the same way that he did against freak man. Who was the guy that who subbed was subbed by Raul Rosas Jr. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But Alberto Montez's recent win, like, he could hurt McMillan on the feet, and then it could be a club and sub. I think that's so live, man. But Montez's chin, like, his only loss has been by knockout. Like McMillan's volume, he could maybe find an accurate shot here. I'm still gonna lean Alberto Montez here to finish, and I would like him to finish by sub too. Up a ladder on top that I'll probably end up taking is fight to not go the distance. I think there's going to be a finish here from either fighter, but I do lean Montez here. Up next for our women's strawweight bout, we got Tabitha Ricci versus Fatima Klein. This one's tough as well too, man. Like, I know the odds are heavy, right? But if Tabitha Ricci reaches back into the back pocket where she pulls out the wrestling that because she's really good takedowns, man. Like, if Ricci goes back to that instead of boxing, Ricci could score a decision victory or maybe even a ground and pound or even a submission on Fatima Klein. But Fatima Klein is one of like the new and upcoming strikers in the strawweight division, and she has hands, she has power, and she has combinations, most importantly, man. So I understand the odds on her, but the Tabitha Ricci is really, really piquing my interest as a live underdog, just because I know if she implements this wrestling game plan, she can get Fatima Klein flat on the back, and it might look like that Tabitha Ricci versus for John Aroba fight, but except Tabitha Ricci is going to be John Aroba. I really wanna say the underdog in Tabitha Ricci here, man, especially at the crazy odds that we're getting her at. But for the pick, I'll probably take Fatima Klein, but I might play Tabitha Ricci, especially if the odds keep steamrolling. All right, up next for our lightweight belt, we got Chase Hooper versus Mitch Ramirez. This is a very interesting matchup, man, because Chase Hooper on this knockout loss streak, like, usually this is the time where UFC like sets you up for failure by matching you up with like a young rising contender for them to build a name off of you. Mitch Ramirez is not that. Mitch Ramirez is his losses aren't that bad. His losses are all against a good competition. Like Carlos Prates has I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but there's a grappler in there. There's another hybrid. But Mitch Ramirez, man, like, I remember watching a lot of interviews about him, like when I was doing the tape study for DWCS and his other recent fights. Like, he's a head case, man. Like it's like he's going through his own struggles and tribulations, especially like the mental. Like, it weighs heavy on him. He's spoken about it in depth about like how it's affected his mentality for fighting, how it's caused him depression. Like, I don't usually like backing fighters like that. But what he does have is he does have a little bit of pop inside his shots. And Chase Hooper being extremely hittable, like Mitch Ramirez round one KO, probably pretty live, man. But with the fact that Chase Hooper has been knocked out like this, right? I feel like Chase Hooper should, right? He should, but fighters don't always do what they should do. But Chase Hooper should implement a wrestling pressure heavy game plan to get the fight to the mat. And if Chase Hooper gets the fight to the mat, man, I think a submission is going to be happening very fast. But if it's on the feet, Mitch Ramirez can definitely catch him with a knockout. I would avoid playing money line for Chase Hooper. Like, it is in your best interest, in your family's interest, in your whole lineage's interest to avoid Chase Hooper money line. We've seen time and time again him at a minus 300, minus 400, minus 450 price tag, and then he loses in round one by knockout. Like, you don't want to be putting that much chalk in your parlay for like the little like odd boost. It's really not worth it, guys. Chase Hooper, I probably like for the pick. I probably take Chase Hooper by submission, But if the odds are good enough, I'm playing Mitch Ramirez by knockout, you know? But yeah, like, if this gets down to the match, Chase Hooper should instant submit him. But he's a BJJ nerd. He does, this is another thing too. Chase Hooper likes to strike at the beginning. Like, he needs to become a Dagestani and just go crotch sniffling, dude, because any more to his chin, dude, and it's gonna be dust. Yeah, give me Chase Hooper by submission for the pick, but it's not. I'm not that confident on that. All right, up next for our middleweight bout and the co-main event, we got Jared Cannonier versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Jared Cannonier, I'm gonna break this. I was extremely fast. Okay, Jared Cannonier, I respect what he's done in his whole entire career. I respect how he's gone against every elite fighter in the division. Came out on top sometimes, fell down from the high sometimes. He's fought the best of the best. He's been there the longest, but he's 42, man. He's 42 against somebody that's primed, athletic, knockout power potential as CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan. I think this is a setup fight, man. Like, this is like, like being fed to the wolves or you eat the wolves. Like, Jared Cannonier is always being put in these situations, man. I feel for the man, because every single rising contender, every single new star, every single elite fighter that is rising to the ranks, Jared Cannonier is fighting them, man. He doesn't win them all, but it's always competitive fights, like, and he survives too. But it's 42, like, he's eaten so much damage throughout his career, and it's not like he hasn't been knocked out before too. I think CLD should style on Jared Cannonier here. CLD was not able to get the knockout on Roman Dolidze because the fight IQ, like, this is the one thing about CLD, man. His fight IQ leaves, like, sometimes it's very sharp, and then sometimes it leaves, like, not even so much room to be desired. It leaves everything to be desired, Like, his fight IQ, you have a hard time trusting it sometimes, but if an opponent is hurt, CLD usually capitalizes on it. So give me CLD by KO here, man. I think it probably will be around 2 KO. I like CLD here, man. I don't really like the moneyline price. I'm not going to be playing the moneyline, but I like him to finish here, man. It could be a decision, but then it is what it is, But I'm gonna take the knockout on a 42-year-old. I feel like this is just a spot where it's bound to happen. Give me CLD for the early pick. Dricus Du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman. Now, this one's such a tough fight for me, man, because Kamaru Usman, even at even at middleweight, I still believe he can take down the majority of the top 10. And Dricus is not top 10. Dricus is like top 2, bro, top 1. Isn't he the number 1 contender? I'm sure he's the number 1 contender because he was the champ that lost. Or number 2 now, maybe, actually. This is tough, man, because even at this age, Usman still has it in him, but that most recent fight with the Buckley, that win has not aged well, considering how Buckley has 0 takedown defense. But you know who also has gotten takedown in every single fight inside the UFC, pretty much? DDP. DDP has been taken down by everybody, but he gets back up. But will he be able to get back up against Kamaru Usman? That's the $1 million question, But I do have to lean DDP with the bigger size advantage. He should be able to muscle his way and get up, even with all the credentials and top control of Usman. I still think DDP should get up, man. Realistically, right, this is either Usman hugging you for if Usman wins, it's going to look exactly like the Hamzat fight with a little bit of more ground and pound maybe, but it's going to look quite similar. If DDP wins, I think it's going to be by knockout, man. I don't think he submits Usman, and if it goes to decision, I would kind of favor Usman, man. But I also like DDP's growth. Like, everyone jokes about the plot armor and all that stuff, but his growth factor is not really expressed a lot. Like, every single fight that he's in, you can tell that he's leveled up. You can tell that he's worked on it with his team. You can tell all the hours of preparations that went into it. And DDP has been more inactive than Hamzat. Like, he's taken a year plus layoff now just to work on his wrestling. Like, he watches that Hamzat fight over and over again just to analyze and prepare himself. I think unlike Joaquin Buckley, who does not learn from his losses, I definitely believe Dricus du Plessis here has learned from his loss. So I'm gonna be trusting Dricus du Plessis. I don't really like the odds here, right? Like, it's not. It shouldn't be picked up. Like, DDP should still be the favorite with all the age and like, yeah, with the age. That's it. Like, I was gonna say experience, but Usman definitely has more experience. But yeah, dude, I have to favor DDP here. I'm taking DDP for the early lean, man. But the odds, a lot of values on Usman, and if Usman wins, it's gonna be very lopsided, you know. But I'm gonna take DDP for the early pick, and that concludes the entirety of UFC Fight Night du Plessis versus Usman. I hope you guys enjoyed. Those are all my early takes, picks, and leans. This is my first time ever really making a video for like this. Usually, I don't care to make picks, right? Like, usually I care about what cashes, and that's what's important to me. You know, feeding myself, feeding my family, feeding Certified MMA Locks inner circle. You know, like, picks don't do anything, but you know, like, that's the type of content that was kind of requested from me, and you know, maybe I'll start enjoying them. I don't really like picking fighters and winners because at the end of the day, man, like, I'm here to make bread. I'm here to make some real bread, you know, and you don't make that by making picks, you know, but let's see how this goes, man. If you guys enjoy this and you guys want me to continue making picks, early lean videos, and sending them out, I'm gonna do my best. If I happen to do this, I'll be dropping them every Sunday on the dot. So everybody gets my early leans and takes, and then I'll be the first on the market. Maybe not first, but like amongst the first, right? If you like this content, please leave a comment down below requesting for me to do more. Please leave a like and subscribe to the page. It's been fun, man. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.